So these are an important video which I know not everyone will be interested in, but however it's going to answer some questions and correct some wrong impression and wrong information people have concerning transmission types with respect to manual, specifically Peugeot manual transmissions. A lot of people pass wrong informations most times to discourage some users or people interested in that transmission type, to go for something else. This wrong informations has been going on for years, which I'm very, very much aware. So I want to do a video to correct some of these things, so that, of course, I know some people will still have or hold to their beliefs or opinion or what they've gathered, just to justify why they choose or why they want other people to go for the one they prefer. So it doesn't mean you shouldn't hold your opinion, but for those who are interested or really want to know, I believe this video will answer some of these questions. Okay, now it's about manual transmission in Peugeot vehicles. Peugeot vehicles that have manual stick shift. And so if I don't want to talk about people that claims this and that and that and that, but I'm saying if you own a Peugeot vehicle with manual transmissions and you are finding it difficult, most especially for modern Peugeot vehicles. When I say modern Peugeot vehicle, I always refer to the ones at least sometime late 2000. In fact, let's just say from 2000 upward. From the year 2000 upward, I always regard these vehicles modern, because they share almost same complex electrical systems. So, and even the mechanicals, they are basically the same, or similar, or at least, there could be an improvement, but basically the same design systems and the rest. So if you own any of these Peugeot, any of these Peugeot vehicles, and with this transmission type, and you are finding it difficult to depress your clutch pedal, or when you do depress, after some minutes you find out that your left leg is feeling uncomfortable, or rather you are finding your clutch pedal very heavy to depress, that makes you uncomfortable to drive the car, for a while in a day. You could maybe after 5 minutes, no problem, but you realize that 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour later, behind the wheels, you start feeling uncomfortable. So by uncomfortable, I mean depressing the clutch pedal, not uncomfortable in other areas. There are other parts of the body that I could feel that you might find uncomfortable with. But for the left leg clutch pedal, if you are finding this having this issue, understand that there is a problem. The problem has nothing to do with the transmission type, but there's a problem that is there that needs to be fixed, or need to be addressed, or needs to be corrected. The problem could be the vehicle, or the problem could be the user of the vehicle, or the one behind the steering wheel, not the transmission type. So one of the problems that could cause it, or one of the vehicle parts or system that in the vehicle that can make your clutch pedal heavy or distasteful to use, is the clutches. I'm not talking about the pedal now, I'm talking about the entire clutch system. And or if I was use the word components of the clutch system, meaning it's not all the components, just one or two of the components. And which of the components am I talking about? Number one, if your clutch pressure plate is bad, it's going to affect the clutch pedal. So for the clutch pedal to depress down, to go down and actuate the pressure plate, you are going to find it heavy when you are depressing or applying the clutch pedal, or engage, to disengage the friction plate, the release bearing, and the rest to do their work. The clutch pedal is going to be heavy to depress, or hard, or uncomfortable. So don't start blaming the system simply because you don't understand there's a problem with the system that needs to be fixed. Every system all have problem every once in a while, no matter what. Even humans that created these systems are not perfect. So whatever system that exists in this physical life, eventually there has to be a fault that will come up. You fix it, you start with continue running. So there's a problem there. If you are not technical enough to detect that, you don't even need to be technical. An experienced driver will know. It doesn't have to be that you know how to fix this thing. An experienced driver behind the wheel will know when there's a problem with the clutch system. So if your clutch pedal is feeling heavy, your friction plate could be the cause. One of the reasons that could make this clutch plate to do that is people that always like to be washing their engine or engine bay every now and then. You want your engine to look like I don't know how to say that. Every now and then you are washing it with water. Every morning, every afternoon, you are pouring buckets of or thereabouts on your engine. And these things are flowing into your bell housing, or where your clutch systems are mounted on the engine or on the flywheel, and creating rust on this component. Eventually, it's going to affect them. And one of the ones it will affect is the pressure plate. Now, what is the clutch pressure plate? Clutch pressure plate is one of these things. Is a name Nigerians locally or mistakenly call a clutch disc. But the proper name is clutch pressure plate. In other words, the clutch disc is actually the friction plate. That's the technical name for the friction plate. As in two of them. You could use any of this name, but mistakenly or wrongly here in Nigeria, people call the friction plate, the pressure plate clutch disc, which is the wrong one. It's supposed to be the other one that is the disc, the friction plate. So these are the reasons why your clutch plate, your friction plate, your pressure plate can make your clutch pedal heavy. However, eventually it was going to fail. So it's not like it's only that water that will cause it. Over time, 100,000, 200,000 kilometer usage or mileage or thereabout, of course it will start to get uncomfortable as time goes on, until you get a point you now realize it has to go. Even though it may not be giving you other sign of failure or weakness, but then you find this could be the it has to go. Or at least you have to remove the clutch keys, pressure plate, release bearing, and that to find out which of them that is causing it. Now, another thing that can cause it. So don't say, I'm not saying once you depress your clutch pedal, it must be if your clutch pedal feels heavy, then it must be the clutch pressure plate. No. Just one of the things that can cause that, but like I say, it all depends on how experienced you are behind the wheel. If you're an experienced manual user, you will be able to tell some of these things. Or if you're a technical person, you will know. Okay, so another one that could cause this is the clutch release bearing. One of the reasons or causes of failure or short lifespan of this release bearing is also this same water people pour constantly in their engine bay. There's nothing wrong with once in a while washing your engine bay, but if you are the type that always want your engine to look like brand new all the time, of course there are some environment you will say if you live in, probably you don't even need to be watching as your engine looks new almost every now and then, because there is less dust and this and that. But in an environment like Nigeria, trying to make it look that new all the time, you are creating problem if it's a manual transmission. I'm not saying water going there once will kill it, but if it becomes a habit of pouring it there, don't complain when your clutch pedal feels heavy because of faulty or malfunctioning clutch components inside that bell housing. So release bearing can do that. One of the another ways that causes of faulty release bearing or short lifespan of release bearing is people that ride their clutch pedal or their clutches. There are people that almost once they start sort of they move the car goes into motion. I'm talking about manual transmission. Their left leg rest or remains on the clutch pedal till they get to their destination. They even when they depress and release the clutch pedal, they still leave it halfway or still keep their left leg or foot on top of the clutch pedal. Once your foot touches that clutch pedal, is already pulling the release bearing, and is also acting on the you're pulling the clutch fork, and the clutch fork shifts or pull or pushes depending on the design of the clutch system. Either it pulls or pushes the release bearing, which will now also do the same thing on the pressure plate. So once your leg is there, you are riding your clutch. So if you are the type, it means all the time your release bearing is just being pushed or stressed, because it's always on at that time. It's supposed to disengage. So and leave it only when you need to depress to use the clutch. But if you leave your leg there, it's actively on. So it's going to wear out much faster. And most times when it now wears out like that, you start damaging your pressure plate. So these are the reasons or some of the things that could make your release bearing to pack up sooner than it should, or shortens its lifespan. So of course eventually it's going to fail. Every part of the vehicle has an expiring date, or eventually will wear out. Some may not fail, but eventually when the car is done, his life goes with it. So eventually it will fail. If you are good enough with how you drive, you're supposed to be talking about over 100,000 kilometers or thereabout before you start talking about replacing any of these clutch kits in the bell housing, or at least your release bearing, as long as it's a genuine one that is there. So it all depends on clutch application, how you drive, that will determine what to kill it or make it last longer. So release bearing can cause your clutch pedal to feel heavy to depress. Another thing that can make your clutch pedal to feel heavy or be uncomfortable to drive because it's stiff, strong, heavy, or whatever is clutch cable. That is, if your own clutch system uses cable instead of hydraulic or brake fluid or clutch cylinders. So if yours is the clutch cable and you start feeling uncomfortable, notice that these things are becoming hard to depress the clutch pedal. Your clutch cable can be the cause. Just because it has not broken or cut does not mean it's not bad, that it's still good. So if the cable inside, sometimes they will start to cut off gradually and start wounding, start to act as create friction between that insulation or hose rubber that it passes to. So in other words, start dragging. So that can make your clutch pedal heavy. Like I said, all these things, depending how experienced you are with the manual transmission or behind the wheel, you may be able to dictate to know which, or at least among these two, one of them could be the cause. You may not actually know which exactly is causing it, but from experience, you could know, okay, it's most likely going to be this between these two, aside every other components there. So clutch cable can cause that. Not every Peugeot, some modern Peugeot cars have clutch cable. I mean, Peugeot 206, basically, they're all clutch cables, the manual ones, unless, I don't know if there's any, because even the ones with EW10J for engine 2.0 also have that clutch cable. So it's possible some don't have, but basically all the ones I've come across have that cable. I don't know about the 206. Then 406, same thing, like the D8 early models, basically. I don't know, maybe there could be some, maybe the V6 one may not have the cable. I don't know, it could be. I know most of them uses or use cable, clutch cable. So I can't say that for D9 with SU engines if they also use, but I know for D9 with EW engine, the ES engine, they all use hydraulic. So clutch cable can cause that. So it depends on your car clutch systems. Another thing people don't know that can cause this thing is the hydraulic or the brake fluid that controls the cylinders of the clutch system. That's if your clutch system uses fluid or weight the clutch cylinders. The cylinders I'm talking about is the clutch master cylinder and the clutch slave cylinder. So the hydraulic, when it expires, people hardly touch that part of the system. As long as it's not leaking, nobody bothers with it. So what they usually do is they will drain, sometimes intentionally, they will drain their brake fluid via the brake calipers, what's it called? The brake fluid reservoir. Drain all those things. But the one on the clutch remains there. And that brake fluid over time, once it expires, trust me, you find it start giving you the symptom of hard, what's it called? Hard depressed or heavy clutch pedal. You could be wasting your time trying to find out what it could be the cause, changing what has nothing to do with the issue, not knowing that the issue is just your brake fluid that is inside the clutch master cylinder, slave cylinder, and then on the fluid line, the line that connects this master cylinder and the slave cylinder. So the easiest way, personally, I always tell people, if you're having such symptom and it's a hydraulic system, what I will recommend is, first of all, bleed that system. Bleed your clutch system via the slave cylinder. Bleed it, make sure that, you could empty your slave, what's it called? Your reservoir, the brake fluid reservoir. Empty it, put in a fresh one, and then bleed your clutch system via the slave cylinder. Once the new fluid start coming there, you will know. Unless maybe your own system, the cylinders are meant not to be bled, because I think for D8 V6 manual with ES9J4, I don't think their slave cylinder can be bled. I've forgotten how that system is, so they have that problem, or maybe they don't, but point is, as long as you can bleed it, do it. Not every Peugeot car is easy to bleed the slave cylinder, like the ones on the SN engine, like in the 504, 505, that's a different story altogether. You can't breathe it the way we do the modern one. Otherwise, the clutch will just, pedal will just go flat and will come up again. So those of us that drive this classic Peugeot car, we understand we have our own system of bleeding the clutch system. So for the modern ones, bleed from the slave cylinder, you might be surprised after bleeding it, your clutch pedal becomes softer again. So have this understanding. Like I said, you the when you, it may not be a technique, it mustn't be a technician to have all this knowledge concerning manual transmission. As long as you are that experience behind the wheels, you will know. Because some of us, as you use this car, years, decades, you start to, some of these issues will come up, you fix, you just record it in your brain that, right, okay, this can cause this, and you've been able to solve it, and this was what solved it. So you note it as one of the causes, you know. So, um, most especially if you are the type that pay attention when driving cars, pay attention to the vehicle. I always tell people, when you pay attention, see, listen to that vehicle. Don't be so absent-minded when you are driving. Listen, pay attention to that vehicle. You will learn so much about the car. Learn so much. The car is always telling you something. When you do something wrong, the way it will react, it will tell you, this is not good for me. You now take, correct yourself. Don't do that again. If you do it again, understand that you're going to add up to your bills. So pay attention to car. You learn so many things. Like I said, don't need to be a technician to be able to prevent some of these issues, or have solutions to some of the problems that will come up over time as you use these cars. So this is like one part that can cause this heavy clutch pedal. In fact, in other words, this part that I require about the clutch is only when the fault is coming from the vehicle, a faulty component on the vehicle. That's when you could, this is just one part of it. Now, the second part I want to talk about is when the issue or the cause has nothing to do with the vehicle, but the user or the one behind the wheel. Now, like now, the one is actually like into two. The first one I think I've talked about is like people that ride clutch. You ride your clutch. Every moment your clutch, your left leg or there is still on the clutch pedal. To you, it's like part of the driving. You can't remove your leg. The way your right leg is on the accelerator constantly, that's the same way your clutch pedal is there. So your driving style can damage the components on the clutch system that can make your clutch pedal heavy. So that's one. Now the second one is what most people probably never thought of. All you could do is just a minute or two, the issue will go away, and that is what sitting position. Trust me, it's completely different from the automatic. The way you sit on a manual Peugeot vehicle. Now, listen to what I said. I'm not talking about every other vehicle, but it's likely going to be the same, might be the same. I've driven other brands that are not Peugeot, Stellantis, or whatever, the manual ones, but I'm limiting this to Peugeot. So, your sitting position on a Peugeot vehicle manual transmission matters, and they differ from that of the automatic. If you don't want to have problem with your taking your foot up and down on your clutch, if you sit wrongly, if you adjust your seat wrongly, you are going to have that problem. You are going to have that problem. Most people don't, like I said, they just jump into the car, draw the seat back, or push it forward. To them, that's the only adjustment needed. No. Most times, I don't like people even driving my cars. Like I always say that most people will find it very strange or call me wicked for that. I have my reasons. One of the reasons, aside that most people are clutch killers, but one of them is once you adjust that seat, it's going to take me some time, call it eternity, for me to get that seat back to how I use the car without having any issue on any of the legs on the pedal. Most times it takes me weeks or until whenever I'm in a long journey, that's when I will get that position in a perfect place for me. How do I mean? You may not know if you have gotten the position for you well on that particular vehicle. I'm not talking about every Peugeot manual car. No, that particular car. You won't really understand. You may not know. Maybe you do only 20 minutes drive in a city. Then once you now take it on a long journey, only to realize after about an hour, you start feeling uncomfortable, maybe on your left leg for the use on the pedal, on the clutch pedal. And for me, that's when, after about an hour, that's when I will know if my seat, that position I just said that seat is the best for that particular car and myself. So if it's not, that's when I will now start adjusting the car. Even while in motion, the only thing I could do, I'll just reduce my speed. But then I will now start adjusting that. Once you get the sitting up, you adjust it and you now sit to a point that you're surprising, all your pains will go away. So your sitting position in a manual Peugeot car matters. For those who are technical enough, or if I may not even have to, most technical person may not even know what I'm talking about. But the experienced Peugeot users, manual specifically, who are observant enough, go to any Peugeot vehicle with manual transmission. Whether it's 504, 404, or whatever, go to any of them. You will see that the arrangement of the pedals differ from other brands of cars. How many pedals? 3, right? The first one, you see the clutch pedal, you see that it sits higher than the other 2 pedals. It's always higher. Not that much or far, but you see it a little bit up, followed by the brake pedal. Then the accelerator pedal will be now almost like the lowest. 3 of them they are never in the same line. One will be a little bit higher. So all those things matter. So how you sit, how you adjust your seat to come up a little, go down, shift back, pull up, all those things depending on your body. Remember, everybody, we are different in terms of body sizes, the length of your leg, how short it is, this and that, your hands, they all differ. So it's now up to you to now find that spot on that seat that makes it perfect for you, not for any other person. If you are fortunate to have a car, Peugeot modern vehicle that have this electronic control seat, not just electronic ones or electrically controlled one, but some don't have memory, as in where you could save the adjustment, so that anytime, even if anybody enters the seat and change the adjustments, move it to a different position, once you enter, you press that saved seat position, press it, it will return it to how you saved it, how you drive and feel comfortable. But then the only problem with that is the moment you disconnect the battery, that's all. So if anybody change the position of the seat or adjust it, you can never get it back again. So I've been trying that, and eventually you forget. Somebody will go and change it. If you press the seat, memory this thing, take you to something else. So personally for me, I don't, even when I enter other people's car, I don't like touching that seat position. I try to, because it's not mine. It's not like I want to use the car forever. So I try to manage as much as possible the way the person sits here. Even if I find it uncomfortable, I'm only doing a test drive or something, so I'll just stay there. Because I don't want anybody to adjust or alter mine, because I know it's not going to be funny for me to get it back the way I set it. Because like I said, most times I only get it when I'm already in the journey. If I start feeling any pain or anything, that's when I will now have to adjust. But if the adjustment remain the way I kept it months, years, and I'm on a journey, I won't feel anything. So sitting position matters in a Peugeot manual. That's why I say for Peugeot, because of the way they arrange their pedals for manuals. They are not the same. I can't know. Maybe the other models that do the same with the Peugeot system, the way they position their pedal. But as far as Peugeot is concerned, be using their cars decades, so I know these things matter, your sitting position. So if you're having that problem, even after you've done everything and your clutch pedal become very soft, yet after a while you start feeling uncomfortable, then you have to deal with your sitting position. Not how another person adjusted. No, your own body, you have to do it or if you are too using the vehicle, well, there's nothing I can say about that, So the other factors here that have nothing to do with the vehicle, like I said, this is like a second part. One of them is all these converted cars from right-hand drive to left-hand drive for Peugeot cars. Not all, but some models, they do have that problem. I don't know where this problem is. Is it that the people doing the conversion are using the wrong part? Or is it that, I don't know. Most times, when you enter a car they converted from right-hand drive to left-hand drive, you see that you open the door, look at the pedals, the clutch pedal will be facing, Lagos. What's it called? The brake pedal will be facing Sokoto. The accelerator pedal will be facing the steering. As in, it just very disorganized. So there's no how you sit there and you can't. So sometimes when I'm driving some of these cars, I'll just be using my leg to be looking for which one is pedal, which one is clutch. You just be searching for it under each time you want to apply your clutch. Some of them, the clutch pedal will not go so high that you must lift your leg completely up before you can even touch the pedal. I don't know why would you feel uncomfortable doing that? If you have to raise your leg that high before you to touch, grab the pedal with your foot and not pressing down, after a while you start having that problem, So you need to be looking, if you want to do this car, you are converting from right-hand drive to, you get yourself involved. Insist, because what I've observed is, because the right-hand drive pedals, they are not the same with the left-hand drive pedals. At least Peugeot cars, or most of the ones I know about, like the 406, I think 307 as well, or something like that. Forgotten. They are the left-hand drive, even 407, they are left-hand drive clutch pedal, whether manual, complete assembly, the three of them, and that of the right-hand drive, they are not the same. So if you go and take the right-hand drive and put here, you're going to have this problem. So what they usually do is sometimes they will find a way to bend it, to do this, so that it will look, so that they won't have to buy the left-hand drive one while doing the conversion. And then it will give you this ugly arrangement, So these are the things you also have to consider when you're buying cars. Look at all these things to know if the arrangements can be the cause. The way they position the pedals out of factory could be the cause why you're feeling this comfortable. So like I said, some of these causes have nothing to do with the vehicle. Some because some of the components of the vehicle have failed, but the user keep using them and complaining. Which, if you ask me, I could say probably because they didn't even know. Because to them, as long as the engine, the gear still engages and goes off, they can see upshift and downshift. To them, every cost component is okay, but it's not. There are other ways that people end up putting clutch kits or component that could cause that, and that is used ones. These used components, even me, I tried once and I find it uncomfortable. But I was like more like expecting. My advice is, if you can, buy a new one. Your new clutch key, I'm talking about pleasure plate, friction plate, and release bearing. I understand that these days they are quite expensive in Nigeria. In fact, getting original one now is even a big challenge. But once you get that new original or good new one, trust me, anything concerned that you have to talk about. I mean, yeah, this like even for this, the how do I even start? As early as 2000 till date, if you money Peugeot vehicle now, especially with the ones with four cylinder, you can actually use your finger. Talking about one or two fingers to depress the clutch pedal if everything is in good condition on that clutch system. So where is the pain going to come from when you can use a finger that doesn't even need any pressure to activate or press something and it goes down and comes up? So anybody that is complaining that even a system will go, then you are just doing it maliciously, or you're just trying to justify why you prefer something else, or to discourage others from going for a manual. And most time people complain about this manual and as if they've ever even driven it. They've never driven. All they know about is what people talk online. You drive manual, your leg will be so distant. As if, sometimes it could be maybe they drove 504 back in the day. Even that 504, it wasn't even that heavy, that bad. Not like I don't have one. How many of them have I even used before now? So, there's nothing wrong if you don't want the manual transmission. I find the automatic better that is more suitable to you, to what you need it for, or purpose of you having a car. There's nothing wrong with that because it's a choice. You can't just have all of us can have the same choice in life. Otherwise, this life will be so boring that almost everything is the same. Everybody look alike. Everything, every car look alike. Every house look alike. Every human being look the same. You won't even want to say, in fact, there won't be any identity anymore because there's no difference between you and another person. So there's no you anymore. So things have to differ. But it's just that when people sometimes just be making some wrong, talking things that are wrong that which shows they probably have never had this experience. Or they didn't even realize the problems with either they were causing the problem themselves or there was an issue with the vehicle they probably didn't even identify and fix. And they're complaining as if it's a default issue with the vehicle. It's not. I don't know about other brands. I'm talking about Peugeot, So, so I believe people who are actually interested in manual or have manual already, or have this, even though they are not interested in manual, but they have this wrong information and dispensing it, telling whoever that cares to listen. Now, I believe I must have done some, qualification for you to understand we are wrong. I don't need to be right, but I'm telling you, go and test and find out all I've said. All you need, if I can give this video to an expert on manual transmission, let him prove me wrong. Yes, I'm telling you, let that person prove me wrong. If anything I've said, probably there could be more I didn't add, or because I didn't know. But that person could not tell. But to say, hey, these things I've said, these are experience gathered for driving manual, Peugeot specifically, manual for decades, not 1 or 2 years. So understand, I know these things. I know how, that's why up till now, I'm still sticking to, because I understood these are not problems. If you can do this or avoid this, you will not have that issue. So if you can, get a new kit. Most of these use clutch kit. Probably the pressure plate is already about to, or already feeling that way before you buy. So if you mount it, if you see feeling the same thing. The brand new ones will not give you that, as long as they are good enough. Worst case scenario, you might say, okay, it might not last as good as the original used one, or genuine one removed for a genuine used one removed from a vehicle, But it has advantage of having a new one. It will matter what they know, they are that good. But the fake, what I've seen the ones people put fake and still, so you can understand, but it's just like it may not last. So new ones, wow, I mean, as you are touching it, wow. Or when you buy a car, especially fully used ones, that everything is still good, you'll be wondering whether there's anything self, whether this is even depressing or acting on the clutch kit on the bell housing. That's how soft modern Peugeot cars, clutch pedals can be. The V6 ones, they tend to be a little bit heavier because of the nature of the work. The engine, for V6 engine in Peugeot car, they produce quite a number of full stock. So the clutches are bigger, heavier, more performance, design and all that. So it may take a little bit effort to be able to do that. Otherwise, if it's as light as these other ones, you may not be able to handle the torque. But still, once you have a good one, you won't even feel anything. So understand where these problems are. Like I said, there could be other reasons that maybe I'm not remembering now, or probably I don't even know, and you know already. So I hope this have done justice to people who are more interested or really need this clarification. Those who don't want and still want to believe that manual cars will make their life miserable because the clutch pedal will be so heavy that, let me even tell you, when I'm doing long journeys, do you know the one I actually do feel pain after some hours, or even, let not say pain, it's actually my right leg, the one on the accelerator, that after a while I start feeling uncomfortable on that one. Reason being that my left leg on the clutch pedal, because it's going up and down, is moving, active, so it's being exercised at that time. So no matter what, my blood is flowing all the time on that one, because it's going up and down every once in a while. While the one on the accelerator is almost constantly one place. And because it's accelerator, in the beginning you may not need much pressure, but after a while you realize that after an hour or so that you need pressure to be able to hold down your foot at one place for a while, to hold, because it's cable or whatever you're depressing. So after a while you feel, that's even the one I feel uncomfortable on the journey, not this one. Because like I said, this one is constantly being exercised, the one that operates the clutch pedal. But this one on the pedal is even the worst. So anybody telling you that on a long journey you will feel bad, start having long, what's it called, muscle pull on the clutch pedal, you are lying. Trust me, it's a lie. Human body is human body. Once you don't exercise your body, it becomes a big problem. So stop feeding people lies just to justify why they should get automatic. Let them choose to buy automatic because they want to, not because of your wrong information or trying to feel good that, let everybody drive what you drive. That's very wrong. Let people make their choices. All right, that's all for this video.